And welcome back to part 5 of What If welcome back to the Dragon Ball Z What If. What if Piccolo and Gohan had trained in the hyperbolic time chamber for the Saiyans? Last time we left off, basically, we're pretty much going to be wrapping it up this time, so I got to go plan out a new What If for next week. But we left off with the Universe 6 tournament happening. Now, here, the Universe 6 tournament team would basically be the same, but I think Gohan actually does participate. Like, he hasn't lost really any of his stuff at all in terms of his stride, in terms of his abilities, anything like that. He's just not as strong as he is in the can. So you have Gohan, you have Piccolo, you have Vegeta, and you have Goku. And then you have Monaka, obviously. The greatest warrior of all, he who has large nipples. Monaka, so yeah, you have Monaka. And it goes about the same. Goku goes up first, beats Motamo, loses to Frost. Then you have Piccolo, who again loses to Frost, but then Frost gets disqualified. A lot of the same happens. Vegeta goes, beats the crap out of him. Vegeta is basically, he's more close, he's somewhere in the middle between his super personality and his beginning of the Buu Saga personality. He has a working relationship with him. He can kind of joke, but he's nowhere near. He's not. I wouldn't go so far as to say they're friends, but they are. He's a friend from work friends, kind of like they will tolerate each other for just fine. And his pride as a Saiyan kicks in, and he beats the crap out of Frost because he wanted to beat the crap out of Frieza, and he just couldn't. Then you have the battle with Magetta, and Vegeta struggles pretty hard, but I think he ultimately wins. Unfortunately, Kaba is able to beat the crap out of him after that because Vegeta does not have God Ki, unfortunately. Gohan comes, though, and I think Gohan kind of becomes more of a big brother figure than a mentor to Kaba. I think Kaba could definitely see that in Gohan. I think that's very much a trait Gohan carries. And he teaches Kaba a lot about including Super Saiyans and how that works. And, Kaba eventually actually turns into one himself. And unfortunately, this is where Kaba starts to beat the hell out of him because Kaba was able to go toe-to-toe even in Super Saiyan, even in base form with a Super Saiyan Vegeta. Or even against Vegeta in base form. And Vegeta at that point in base form had God Ki already absorbed into his body. So, yeah, Universe 6 Saiyans are no joke. Whether you like them or hate them personality-wise, they're no joke power-wise. Gohan, however, is, I think, still the smarter and more clever fighter. So he uses a couple tricks, including Solar Flare, and ultimately, boom, kicks him out of the ring. And, they shake on it. It's all well and good. Quickly Hit beats down Gohan. Obviously, Goku is reinstated, and Goku and Hit duke it out. Unfortunately, Goku, I'm pretty certain, figures things out and is able to ultimately, the fight goes about it the way it goes in the original. So Super Saiyan Blue Goku Kaioken's it, and they're all well and good. The Goku Black arc, I do believe, still happens. Trunks still heads to the present, sees Goku. It's like, huh, what the hell? And they basically explain what has happened. Goku Black come. Basically, it's a lot of the same rinse repeat, except now Vegeta doesn't have Super Saiyan God, so this actually becomes a lot harder of a fight for the gang. But instead of Vegeta, I actually think it's Piccolo who goes, because Piccolo, I believe, at this point also has Kaioken under his belt. So he's at least as strong, or he's around the same level as Super Saiyan 2s in terms of Gohan and Piccolo. So he actually is the second strongest fighter on the planet. So he actually goes to the future instead with Goku, while the others stick around. And Piccolo, I think, with all these years down, at least has a Kaioken times 20 down. Plus, I think his Namekian physiology, because of the regeneration aspect the Namekians have, would allow him to actually be able to handle higher levels of Kaioken more than, like, say, Goku would at more effective rates. So Piccolo could definitely push it past, say, a times 20. He knows that this is the safe margin for his body. Like, this is what his body can handle without being destroyed. And he can hold it fairly well. So Piccolo, the minute that he and Goku get there, Goku Black shows up. It's like, I'm not interested in you, Namekian. Besides, do you want to see what real power is? I think I'll call this Super Saiyan Rose. Whatever. And Piccolo, he powers up and he's immediately going like a Kaioken times 10 just to test the waters. And this guy is still able to really, just like, is this really the best you got? And all of a sudden, Piccolo just elongates his arm and just turns around. It's like, not quite. Kaioken times 20! And just, take this, and then just, you almost had me there. Kaboom! And then he just is about to fire it point blank in his face. It's like, but fortunately, he just cuts Piccolo's arm, and then just is able to avoid it. Although I think he maybe gets like briefly hit by the special beam cannon because it's basically point blank, and he gets a little bit of that swirly scar in his face would actually be hilarious. Just, God, you think you can do this to a beautiful being like myself? And he just falls to the ground. He's able to regenerate his arm, but that kind of regeneration I think takes a bit more time. Well, I'm not gonna lie and say I didn't think I could. And it's like, well, time for you to die. So, don't, you know what? You still got me to deal with. And they duke it out, and eventually Zamasu gets shown up, or shown penned, it's a wish for the immortal body, and they have to hightail it out of there. So now there's like, well, they got an immortal body. There's nothing we can really do. Well, what about sealing him away? If he's got an immortal body, Goku can handle Goku Black. It's Zamasu tag teaming that we have a problem with. It's like, well, what about the Mafaba technique? And yeah, what about that? And sure, and they explain, and Piccolo's like, actually, to be fair, that might work. We'll need a sealing tag and a pop, but I can do it. It's like, wait, you can? And I like the fact that Piccolo demonstrated because it would make sense. King Piccolo knew it, or knew of it at least, minimum, and we know Kami knew it. So why not Piccolo? It makes sense Piccolo would know it. He shows he can do it. They get Roshi. They wait to make sure Roshi gets the sealing tag to him. They make sure to make a couple, just to be fair. Actually, I did love how Roshi just says, "Oh yeah, the bottle's got a seal on it." Boop, boop. So really, that's all they need to do. And just sure enough, next time they go there, Goku and Goku Black square off again. But this time, you're really going to try to kill me. What did I say before? And then he just throws down whatever device he has. Like, really, pottery, is that really the best you can? Evil containment waiver, Mafu Bars. Like, what is this? What is it? It gets sealed away and just boop. It's like, we'll bring you back to the past and deal with you proper, you little shit. Meanwhile, Trunks, hold on to this. It's like, right. It's like, and then Piccolo goes up. And remember, Piccolo actually does get like micro boosts. We see that legitimately in the Daisenshi that his power was a little higher than after the fact. So micro boost from like overexertion or whatever. It's like a very minor Zenkai, nowhere near the same as the same, but he does get it. So he is probably a little stronger at this point. He's Kaiokenning times 20, but this time he pumps it all the way up to like a 30, knowing it's going to wreck his body, but he knows he'll also be able to survive it. And now they're just putting on the pressure to him. And he gets blasted back, but he's basically just charging that final attack. And it's like, Goku! It's like, right! And all of a sudden, Goku just gets behind him, especially just an instant transmission. And he's like, got you! It's like, got you! It's like, I got you! Special beam! Cannon! It's like, not cool, not so fast. And he just disappears again. It's like, not going to get me that easy. And all of a sudden he sees that Piccolo's disappeared. And all of a sudden he sees Piccolo's got his hand there. And she's like, you're not the only one who knows that trick. It's like, and he basically point blank hit right through his head. And basically you just get this giant gaping face. Like, you think what would be a face of is more replaced with just a giant, there's maybe just a little bit of his chin left and his body just drops. But just because of the nature of the special beam cannon, you amplify, because it amplifies your power too. Your power builds when you use it. Again, Daisenshi proves that. So you add a Kaioken and a build to that. Oh yeah, that would probably kill the Goku, if not mortally wound him. Like maybe half his face is gone. Just, you. It's like, don't forget me. It's like, what? It's like, what? Goku blasts him point blank. So either way, he either dies from it or he's more like severely wounded, just like, like a monster. And Zamasu seal. So they bring Zamasu back to the past and bring him for both confrontation with both Beerus and Whis and Goasu and present Zamasu. And basically what they do is they go get the Super Dragon Balls, de-wish the immortality, because they exist still, de-wish the immortality off him, or wish the immortality off him, I guess, and then just expose the Zamasu as the piece of shit he is. Now, you might be arguing, well, what about the timer? Doesn't the timer anchor him in different timelines? Yes, but I feel they could work around that, definitely, especially if they do manage to kill him. Because while I like what Death Battle did, there isn't actually proof that that's what would have happened had they killed him. Out of the fact that, like I said, Goku could point and blank him and destroy the time ring in the process. So there is that. So I do think Goku Black would definitely be killed. And Zamasu is properly sealed away. And then when Zamasu is, his immortality is gone, he meets his present self. It's like, so the plan did work. Well, I cannot allow it to fail. And then Beerus just Hakai's them both. Which leads us now into the Tournament of Power, because Zenny would still show up as he's like, you're funny, and I like funny guys. They do their preliminary match, which would still be the same, except it'd be probably Vegeta versus Boo. Maybe Vegeta. Then again, maybe Bulma is pregnant with Bra again, so who knows? Still, maybe it'd be Piccolo, who knows? But you'd still get your basic lineup. You would get Goku, Vegeta, Gohan. Piccolo, Krillin, Roshi. But you'd also probably have Yamcha and Tien, and both are much stronger than their canon counterparts. But that still leaves 2 spots open, which were reserved normally, which we had for Boo, Frieza, 17 and 18. We don't have any of them here. We probably don't even have 16 here. So what are you going to do? Well, Chaozu, I think, lends his hand here. Chaozu, obviously being the weakest member of the team, still has psychic abilities that can come in handy. And then finally, I think they bite the bullet and wish back wish back a foe, probably Frieza in this case. So, and Frieza, unfortunately, hasn't obtained Golden at all. Or Cold. Honestly, Cold was stronger. So Cole, he even goes to his final form, but it's quickly shown that he is the weakest one. He's not the weakest, but he's outclassed. They'll put him in his place quickly, but still. He goes in, and so it's the Tournament of Power now. And I think Vegeta, to be fair, has acquired not only Super Saiyan 2, but even Super Saiyan 3 at this point, just through sheer trading. He doesn't have God Ki, even though he wants it. But he can't really, I think, convince them, besides with food, and that's no guarantee, to let him be there, let him join. So there's a lot of the same going on here, but Gohan, and even Gohan maybe has Super Saiyan 3 at this point, who knows? But there's a lot going on here, a lot of the same. Goku versus Jiren goes the same. Like verbatim, it would go the same. And then you would have probably your Gohan or Piccolo going over to Goku and giving some energy. Chaozu would probably go out quick, but not before Krillin. Chaozu would probably use some of his psychic abilities to help in conjunction with Tien. Actually, to be fair, Chaozu and Tien would probably work together to get the sniper duo. Because I believe was it a duo working together? I can't remember. But get the sniper character. Because Tien was the one who knocked him out. But together, Chaozu could freeze him up. And we know Chaozu's psychic abilities are strong enough to actually keep Goku frozen for a time in Dragon Ball Super. Which, again, God-infused Goku at that point. So, yeah, they would actually probably be systematically tag teaming and taking a lot of these characters down before Chaozu gets taken out. I would say even maybe knocking out some of the Team 4 members. Just Chaozu's psychic abilities probably would be helpful for locating, I can't remember the name of the tiny fighter, but locating the tiny guy and locating the invisible guy. And maybe they would be the ones that knocked him out, which would leave Piccolo a much better chance later on in the tournament. Goku is in a much better spot so when Khalifa and Kale come in, he's actually already pretty well recovered. So he's able to basically take them on a lot more quickly. Obviously, they turn to Kefla. Goku and her clash. Ultra Instinct's activate again. One of the best finishers in Dragon Ball Z ever happened, or Dragon Ball happens. And so we're back to where we are again. In terms of, characters and how they are and how they're doing overall in the tournament. I still think you'd see Roshi, Krillin, Chaozu, NTN, and Yamcha. I think all 5 of them, the human members of the team, are going to go out pretty quick. The Vegeta, Gohan, Piccolo, Goku, and Cold members of the team, they're going to keep on trucking. Ultimately, until you get to the Universe 4 scenario, or Universe 3, I should say. Universe 4 gets knocked out pretty quick, actually. But the Universe 3 scenario, where they turn into Aniraza, and also, I mean, Goku and Piccolo and them, they all take on the Universe 6 fighters and ultimately come out on top. Although Gohan does strong, because again, he's just not as strong as he is in the original. So, although it's debatable how strong Super Saiyan Ultimate Gohan really was compared to Super Saiyan 3 Goku, I suppose. Debatable. We know Super Saiyan 3 Goku was confident that him and Gohan together could beat Buu at that point. Now, granted, that's their powers combined, but I imagine Goku felt confident he might be able to even beat Super Buu then. And he says he could have beaten the Fat Buu. And honestly, it's implied that evil Kid Buu is not actually as strong as is stronger than Fat Buu, but in a different way. But that is due to the fact that Buu, as we saw him later on, was not as weak as he was not as strong as he was when we first met him, like when Goku first spotted him. So that's most likely why he was weaker than Kid Buu. Whereas Kid Buu, being the original version, having not absorbed a lot of people, is actually probably the theoretically weakest version, but the most dangerous version. So, yeah, it's actually very possible that Goku probably could beat Kid Buu had Super Saiyan 3 not had the issue it had. Either way, though, you get to the Aniraza fight. I assume there's going to be a sacrifice play. I imagine even Vegeta probably realizes, like, yeah, I'm going to have to do it. Bite the bullet here. It's like, crap. So they do it. And finally, you get Universe 4 versus Universe 11. Universe 7 versus Universe 11. And it's Goku. It's mostly Goku fighting Jiren. Piccolo certainly helps out because he is technically the stronger of the two at this point. But I mean, yeah, he's the stronger of the two between him and Vegeta. Vegeta and Gohan are busy dealing with Dispo, or at least trying to deal with Dispo. And Cold Cold is trying to deal with Topo. But unfortunately, Colt just isn't that strong comparatively. So he's getting his ass handed to him. Ultimately, there's a sacrifice play, I think, with Vegeta, I think. Actually, no, Gohan probably would do it, let's be honest. And Vegeta knocks him out. He goes to help with Topo, but Topo is still stronger than both of them. I think there's going to have to be I think it's kind of like a kamikaze play where they have to knock out Topo together. And I think that's what ultimately happens before he can go into God form. And then Goku and Piccolo are struggling. And unfortunately, this is, where I think this is a very tragic story for the end of the series. Because Piccolo would go down first, then Goku. Piccolo gets up, gives lots of his energy to Goku. You get the Ultra Instinct fight, I think, again. But unfortunately, just as before, Goku was ultimately defeated. And Universe 7 loses. And they get wiped out. And I don't think Jiren is going to wish for them to come back. That doesn't seem to be in his character at the time. So, yeah. And because of that, he wipes out Universe 9 as well, or 11 as well, unfortunately. So, yeah. And that is the end of the series. Kind of dark. Now, you could have made the argument. I was like, well, wait. Why couldn't they just win? Because, unfortunately, in this scenario, Goku was the only one, A, with God Key to even be able to have strength to stand up to Jiren. And B, yeah, there just isn't enough people by the end of this to be able to help out Goku in the end. There's not, even if Piccolo had managed to survive past Goku's defeat, it still wouldn't have mattered because they just wouldn't have the resources and power to defeat Jiren. And so, unfortunately, this one comes to a bleak end. There's They're not all happy endings, folks. If Piccolo and Gohan had drained in that Bog Time Chamber for the Saiyans, it actually ruins. It actually hurts a lot of the progression for a lot of these characters in the series. So ultimately, yeah, all's well that ends well, or not in this case. Anyway, though, that is just my interpretation of this scenario, of this series. Let me know if you feel different, and if you do, how do you think it would actually end? Let me know in the comments below. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know to review it at some point. Stay tuned for a new What If on next Saturday. Until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Let's try that again. Bye.